Hey people, it is Monday, March the 4th. The time is 4:26 in the afternoon. It's currently 14 degrees Celsius. A very mild Monday here in Toronto, looking at the Gardiner Expressway, Lake Ontario to the south, the Humber Bay Shores skyline in Etobicoke to the west, and the very busy Gardiner Expressway, and another oncoming GO train here. But I'm going to be making my way from this pedestrian bridge, passing over the Gardiner Expressway, over onto Queen Street West, and heading east through the Parkdale neighborhood. So let's make our way just a few steps to the north here where Queen Street is. And I had to remove my hoodie because I was too hot after recording another video right before this one, where I walked south along Roncesvalles Avenue. So I'm going to start off walking along Queen West, but I'll eventually make my way down to King Street West, as that's the other main street in the Parkdale neighborhood. And King Street begins right here. And Roncesvalles begins right here also, heading north. Queen Street goes on for a very long way in that direction, as the Queen's Way. So technically it is a separate street from Queen Street. I could get used to this spring weather. I know we technically have a 2.5 weeks or so before spring really begins. And I'm not doubting that we might get another blast of cold winter weather before then. And the 504 King has been rerouted here onto Queen Street due to some water main work along King Street. And that will continue up to Dundas West Station. And this is the 504B King. That one will go to the Humber Loop. So, welcome to Parkdale. I love these old apartment buildings, complete with awesome fire escape. So this was once considered a rather sketchy, seedy stretch along Queen Street. And it still might appear that way. and at times might still behave that way, but it's undergone quite a bit of transformation and improvements over the last decade and a half, transforming into a bit of a popular strip and embraced by the hipsters of Toronto. And at one time, Parkdale was an independent village. And you'll still see some memorials, I suppose, to the former village, and some signage indicating what it once was. I think it was annexed by the city of Toronto in the early 20th century. And that's when most of this area was built up. And the banners for the local BIA still refer to it as Parkdale Village. But most of the retail strips in Toronto neighborhoods use the village moniker, whether they were an actual village at one time or not. And I always seem to do these walks through the neighborhood from west to east, and today my plan originally was to do it from east to west. But by the time I was out and about, the sun had already gotten too low in the sky. And I knew I'd be walking directly into the sun, so I decided to just do it from west to east yet again. Maybe in the summer I'll be able to finally get a east to west walk through the neighborhood. There are lots of very hip shops here, lots of vintage shops. I think this is sort of the vintage shopping capital of Toronto, maybe even Canada. There's a comic store. And lots of huge homes in the area, most of which were converted to multi-unit rooming houses and whatnot, starting in the 60s and 70s. As the area started to develop a seedy reputation. But now lots of those old homes are being renovated and returned to being single-family dwellings once again. This is what I would have been dealing with if I was walking in the other direction. And a bit further to the east, this stretch also has an area within that has come to be known as Little Tibet, as there is a significant cluster of Tibetan businesses and restaurants, as well as a significant population of Tibetan people.
It's frustrating because the stuff that you want to go viral doesn't.
So along Queen, Parkdale is defined as between Roncesvalles in the west and Dufferin Street in the east. If you go beyond Dufferin Street heading east, you come into another neighborhood called West Queen West. So we're coming into the Little Tibet area. As you can see across the street, they just put it right on the sign. You'll find lots of Momo places. And here is Jameson Avenue. It's lined almost entirely with these apartment buildings, most of which were built from the 1950s and 60s. And it will go all the way down to King Street, and actually a bit south of King. It's a very high-density neighborhood, very popular with immigrants, and the local Tibetan population populates many of those buildings. They're typically more affordable than some other buildings in the core of Old Toronto. But I've also heard more than one story in the news about very bad landlords and other issues in the buildings, and tenants have gone on tenant strikes and things of that nature. And there we have a CN Tower sighting. That gives you an idea of how far we are from the heart of downtown. Lansdowne Avenue. Some work underway here. At least it's not disrupting the streetcar line here. If that were the case, both King and Queen would have been unable to run streetcars. And surprised that hasn't happened. I'll just talk over this music here. We're walking past a little supermarket, fruit market type place. Nice old neon sign here. That's a bit of a landmark in the neighborhood. Never been to that place though. Momo no FOMO. Guess he had an article about him in the Toronto Star, the owner of this restaurant. Quite a bit of streetcar bunching going on here. Although these two streetcars are going to different places. It's quite bustling right now. It is a beautiful day, and it is rush hour. fruit market. It's always nice to see a local home hardware store. It's a small format hardware store that is traditionally located on main streets and neighborhood shopping strips. I wanted to show the local public library branch, but this streetcar is kind of preventing me. And you can see the street signs here do say Village of Parkdale. Not quite the same as Parkdale Village on the BIA banners. And this Toronto Public Library branch has a redevelopment notice on it. Let me see if I can get a better look. Looks like a mid-rise development is planned. I can assume they'll be replacing the library branch. Or at least relocating it somewhere else in the area. We have not a lot of vacancies, but enough to be noticeable. Then and Now restaurant. And I can see an up express train just passed over the rail corridor. That rail corridor is where Dufferin Street is, which is also where Parkdale ends if you're heading east. Public Butter. I think this is my girlfriend Megan's favorite vintage store. And I'm going to cross the street here because there's only one more short block remaining until Dufferin Street. So I thought I'd check out a little bit of King Street. There's a small retail strip on King Street around Dufferin. And we'll also get a look at some of the residential housing in the area. So we'll head south down Gwyn Avenue here. It's a DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
So it'll take videos?
Yeah.
Is there a time limit?
Well,
2 minutes
if you have a memory card, it depends on how big your memory card is. So this one, I have about a 2-hour time limit to record in 4K quality.
And does it have to be attached to a phone or no? It's
Nope.
completely independent.
It's
separate,
completely independent, yep. Yeah.
And they're attached.
The mic, yeah.
Microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I went roller skating. Where was it? Union Station.
Right.
Over the holidays, December, till February 4th.
Yeah.
And I was going around to some people, and I'm like, first thought it was your cell phone. But I think do they have that in different sizes?
No, this is how it comes, just like that.
So it might have been that on a longer stick?
Well, there's attachments, right? There's a handle attachment, and then there's a battery attachment. So it can be as long as like this all together when the attachments are all together, right? You can hold it like down here.
Where do you get it? Amazon?
Well, I bought this one online, but they're available at Best Buy also.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I just take a picture?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So this is the 3rd generation, the newest one. Yeah.
3rd generation.
Yeah.
So the 1st generation, 2nd generation.
Right.
What does this one have that the 2nd or the 1st one didn't
Well,
have?
it has this cool bigger screen that you can flip. It flips up. Yeah.
Like
the screen
turn it?
flips.
Like,
Yeah.
so
if you
just vertical to purple.
Yeah, you can turn it
horizontal?
like portrait or landscape mode, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it just has like a zoom feature, and it's a bit bigger. The older generations were a bit smaller,
All right.
and this one's a little more expensive,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's
And
a
if
great
you-
great camera.
To upload that to Facebook and whatever social media, no problem.
Yeah, you just upload it to your computer. Just has a a cable.
Yeah.
You just plug it right into your computer.
Okay.
You can upload it right into your hard drive or into iMovie, whatever you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thanks. I think he might get himself one of these. All right, so let's head down to King Street. Check out some of the homes here. Got some nice row houses on this side. And on this side, some detached houses. But as I mentioned, oftentimes these old detached homes contain multiple units. There's a very high population density in Parkdale overall. It's heavily oriented towards apartment living. So this is the sort of old home that began as a single family home and then was converted to a multi-unit rooming house. Well, in this case, it's actually a semi-detached home. So maybe that one never was a multi-unit rooming house. Never mind. I'm sure we'll see another example of what I was referring to there. These are great old townhomes here. Yeah, we're just about at King Street. So that was Gwynn Avenue. Now heading west on King. Or east, I should say. Not as interesting as the Queen Street retail strip here. New residential. And more new residential on the other corner, just rising right now. That used to be a plaza, a single-story plaza that wasn't much to look at, but it had an awesome restaurant called Island Foods. So I was sad to see Island Foods close down, but it relocated and is now open for business on Gladstone Avenue, not too far away.
You guys don't have a ton of mods, so like, should be pretty
No, the
straightforward.
only issue that I've heard is like the forcing.
Well, maybe I'll cross here. And looking north up Dufferin. So I think I'm going to start to wrap up this walk. Well, we explored part of Parkdale, mostly along Queen Street West, heading east from Roncesvalles to Gwyn Avenue, and then south down a residential street to King, ending here at Dufferin, where the boundary between Parkdale and not Parkdale is. So I hope you enjoyed the walk, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.